She was a 24-year-old intern who just completed her master's degree and was preparing to return back home to California, but instead she disappeared without a trace. What happened next would trigger one of the biggest political scandals in modern America. Chandra Levy was born on the 14th of April 1977 in Cleveland, Ohio, and grew up in Modesto, California with her parents Bob, her mum Susan, and her younger brother Adam. Friends described Chandra as ambitious, fun-loving, and determined, and she dreamed of either becoming a lawyer or joining the FBI. In September 2000, Chandra moved to Washington D.C. to begin an internship with the Federal Bureau of Prisons as part of her master's degree in public administration at the University of Southern California. While she was in Washington, Chandra began a relationship with Gary Condit, a 53-year-old married congressman who also happened to be from her hometown of Modesto. Chandra later told family members that she was seeing a congressman in his 50s who looked like Harrison Ford. Because this was a secret relationship, she became a little bit isolated because she would go to work and then she would go and see Gary on an evening. It was all quite after hours that she would see him. In April 2001, Chandra completed her internship and attended her graduation ceremony. She was packing up all of her stuff to go back home while she figured out what she was going to do next, but she would never make it home to her parents. On the 1st of May in 2001, Chandra disappeared. 5 days later, her father Bob contacted the police after becoming concerned that he hadn't heard from her, and obviously she was due to be going back home. The police went to Chandra's apartment where they found all of her belongings but no sign of Chandra herself. Her voicemail inbox was full at this point, and it included 2 messages from Gary Condit who was asking where she was. Investigators found Chandra's laptop and obviously took it in to look through it, but a police sergeant accidentally deleted the computer's internet history before they had time to look at it because he wasn't properly trained in it yet. But luckily they were able to look back and find some of her final searches. On the morning that she disappeared, Chandra had searched Southwest Airlines, checked the weather, she'd viewed Gary Condit's congressional webpage, and she'd also searched for Rock Creek Park. This park was searched, but nothing was found. Her apartment building did have CCTV, but it erased itself after 7 days, and by the time the police requested it, the recordings had been overwritten already. As the news came out that a young intern linked to a powerful congressman had vanished, the case absolutely exploded in the media. Publicly, Gary denied having a relationship with Chandra. However, he did admit it privately to investigators when he was questioned. The police never actually named Gary as a suspect, despite the media heavily focusing on him. And then 9/11 would happen and everything changed. The terrorist attacks shifted attention away from Chandra's disappearance. Investigation dramatically slowed down while everybody's attention was focused elsewhere. In May 2002, more than a year after Chandra vanished, a man walking his dog in Rock Creek Park discovered human skeletal remains. Dental records would confirm that these remains did belong to Chandra Levy. Nearby, a sports bra, jogging clothes, running shoes, a sweatshirt and a Sony Walkman were also found, and the jogging bottoms had knots tied at the bottom of them. Despite this discovery, they were actually unable to determine how exactly Chandra had passed away, and once again, after this discovery, the case went cold. Years later, the detectives would revisit a man named Ingmar Guandique. Ingmar had previously attacked women in Rock Creek Park. In 2002, he'd been sentenced to prison for assaulting 2 women in that very same park, including one attack that occurred in May 2001, which was around the same time that Chandra disappeared. It was also discovered that Ingmar had actually missed work that day on the 1st of May, which was when Chandra had vanished. Although he had previously been considered and ruled out as a suspect, he was taken another look at after one of Ingmar's cellmates claimed that he had confessed to killing Chandra. In 2009, he was charged with her murder, and the following year he was convicted and sentenced to 60 years in prison, and many people believed that this would be the end of this case, but the story wasn't over. In 2015, prosecutors agreed to start a new trial after serious concerns were raised about the credibility of the prison informant who had testified against Ingmar. This particular informant was named Armando Morales, and he had a long history of cooperating with law enforcement, and this hadn't actually been disclosed to the defence. A woman named Babs also came forward to say that Armando had admitted to her that he had lied about Ingmar's confession. It was ultimately concluded that they could no longer prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, and in July 2016, all charges against Ingmar were dismissed. 25 years after her disappearance, there is nobody serving time currently for Chandra Levy's murder.